Hello everyone, this is Jack Frost with your weekly update for Nasdaq. Overall price has continued to increase and a new Elliott Wave count is used. Price is now expected to decline for the short term towards 13025. Elliott Wave first, technical analysis last. On the main bullish weekly chart, cycle wave 4 is labeled complete at this low here, with cycle wave 5 now pulling price higher, currently within primary wave 3. Primary wave 2 is labeled complete at this October 22nd low, with price now increasing with a couple of strong bullish candlesticks for the beginning of primary wave 3. Primary wave 3 has a target calculated at 19588. The 1.618 Fibonacci ratio of primary wave 1. And within primary wave 3, no second wave corrective movement can move below its start at 12543.86. On the main bullish daily chart, we can see more detail for the downwards movement for primary wave 2, subdividing well as a double zigzag, and with the upwards movement for primary wave 3, it is currently labeled a complete intermediate wave 1. Intermediate wave 1 may continue slightly higher, though currently we expect downwards movement for intermediate wave 2 with a target calculated at 13025.66. If this target is reached and price continues lower, intermediate wave 2 cannot move below the start of intermediate wave 1 at 12543.86. Once intermediate wave 2 is labeled complete, we expect increased upwards movement for overlapping third waves at intermediate and primary degrees. On this bullish weekly alternate chart, this wave count sees primary wave 2 an incomplete double combination, currently within intermediate wave Y, expected to pull price lower for its end with minor wave C. Minor wave B may continue slightly higher up to 14884.42, where it would reach 2 times the length of minor wave A, which is the maximum length for a B wave in any expanded flat. If price reaches that point and continues to increase, this wave count will be invalidated. Overall, primary wave 2 is expected to pull price lower with a target calculated at 11756.02, where it would reach the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio of primary wave 1. And if primary wave 2 continues any lower, it cannot move below the start of primary wave 1 at 10092.94. Primary wave 5 is expected to pull price higher with a target calculated at 25197, where it would reach equality in length with cycle wave 3. And on the bearish weekly chart, this wave count sees cycle wave 4 incomplete, currently within primary wave Y of a double zigzag or double combination. Primary wave Y currently unfolding with intermediate wave A, currently within minor wave 3. Any second wave corrective movement within intermediate wave A cannot move above its start at 14446.55. An increased downwards movement is now expected for minor wave 3 within intermediate wave A. On the bearish daily chart, we can see the downwards movement for intermediate wave A, with minor wave 1 subdividing as a leading contracting diagonal and minor wave 2 labeled complete at this high here. Minor wave 2 may continue slightly higher, though it cannot move above the start of minor wave 1 at 14446.55. Minor wave 2 has slightly overshot its initial target at 13719.72, which adds confidence to minor wave 2 being labeled complete at this high. On the technical weekly chart, price has increased from support at 12500 towards resistance at 14250. Volume is overall declining, though there is a slight push from volume on last week's completed candlestick. On balance, volume continues in a range with no signal. ADX declines, showing no clear trend, with RSI and money flow both neutral. Stochastics is neutral and increasing as price moves towards resistance at 14250, where stochastics may enter overbought. And on the technical daily chart, price has continued to increase past support at 13600 and now support at 13850. Volume is steadily declining as price increases. On balance, volume has no new range and gives no signal. ADX now increases with a bullish trend that is not yet extreme. RSI and money flow both neutral, with stochastics overbought, having remained overbought for the last few days. Today's candlestick has ended with what is labeled a measuring gap. This gap has a target calculated at 14463.51, which slightly overshoots this point of resistance at 14400. And on the Nasdaq AD line, the AD line continues to make lower lows, while price continues to make higher lows. This continues the long-term bearish divergence dating back to February 2023 and all the way back to 2009. That's all for me with your weekly update for Nasdaq. I hope everyone has a good week.